Hey everybody, we're back to start the first part of the decal tutorial. Actually, this is going to be a tutorial that I'm going to update the old one with, and we'll go from there. So anybody that knows the old tutorial that's back in my archives, that one will be going away. This will take over as the new one. And basically the same procedures. I've been asked a couple times here lately about doing a decal tutorial on compound curves and ins and outs. So what we're going to be using, as I showed in the intro, is this Mustang body. And I'm going to go ahead and put the decal right down across from the roof, down across the B-pillar here, and onto the quarter panel. And we've got a lot of, body lines and, in coves and, compound curves and things like that. So this would be a good thing to show how to get the decals to conform. And this flag decal I'm going to be using, I don't want anybody to take offense by this, but this is something that it was about the size I was looking for, so I went ahead and cut it out of a decal sheet. But after we get it onto this car, it's not going to be, as in flag form, so please don't take offense to that as I'm cutting up the flag. This is actually just being used for a reference, and it actually shows up real good on this body, as you can see. So once we get it all laid on here and start trimming and cutting, we're going to be cutting this up. So really, it won't kind of look like a flag when we're done, but I'm just showing you how to get the decal to conform to different areas. So what we're going to go ahead and do first is we're going to drop the decal into our water, and we're going to let that sit in the water right now. And hopefully, since this decal is an older one, it does act right. We will find out here very shortly on that. But the next step that we're going to do while it's sitting in the water is we're going to go ahead and we're going to put on a little bit of the Microscale Industries Micro Set. And I like to go in and just brush that on the body roughly where the decal is going to go. And a lot of people out there are real particular about, how much of this they put on the car and where they put it or whatever. And me personally, I'm not. I've never had any, effects of the decal set with the paint that I use or anything like that. So I just kind of brush it down pretty well, basically in the area that I know the decal is going, and then some. That way I know I've got everything covered and we're ready to go. So like I say, we're just brushing on the decal set right now, and our decal sitting over here in the water, and it's like I say, hopefully going to do what I want it to do. This is an older set of decals, so but we'll find out here shortly. I like to keep my surface, pretty much wetted down with the decal set. The micro set, it really helps the decal, go into position and start to draw down. Now, some people mix a little bit of dishwashing liquid in their soap or in their water when they're doing their decals. You can do that. The one thing I have found, that the smoother your surface is and the shinier it is when you're putting your decals down, it helps with being able to move the decal around. So we've got the decal set on there right now, and we're putting more on. So let me see what this decal is doing here. See if it's ready to slide off the backing yet. And nope, it's not ready. So we're going to go ahead and drop it back in there. Like I say, hopefully a decal is good, because that is a set of decals I've had in the drawer for a long time. So hopefully it releases and does what we want it to do. Well, like I say, when I'm setting the decal in the water, I basically just come in and put my decal set, my micro set, on the body or wherever I need to put the decal. That's kind of something that I do in between, waiting for the decal to release. And we'll see what happens here. Sometimes with the older decals, you got to let them set a little bit, and they take a little bit longer to slide off the backing than a brand new decal does. this one's starting to move around, so it looks like it's going to stay in one piece. Yeah, I think we're going to be good on this one. I'm going to set it back in the water here just for a second or two, and we'll go ahead and slide it into place on the body and start this whole procedure. Now, I've done this tutorial at several different shows. I've been asked to do it, and people really got some good information from it. So, but all we're going to do now is basically we're just going to slide our decal off of our paper, and I'm just going to roughly let it drop into position somewhere where we want it to go. And let's see what we got there. That's looking pretty good. Now, as you can see, I just kind of slid it off the paper and dropped it right there, and that's pretty much where I want this one to set. So now we're going to go in with a little bit of the micro set, and I'm going to do all the dipping the brush in it off the camera here. That way my hands aren't in front of the camera all the time, or my arms, so everybody can, you know, get a look at what's going on and what steps we're doing here. But now we're just kind of brushing the micro set around where we want the decal to conform down to. Like I say, there is some compound curves in here, and that's the main reason I'm doing this video, is to show how to deal with compound curves and get your decals to lay down the way you want them to, and to conform into everything. And you can always go back in and do a little bit of sliding around and things like that, you know, at this stage, because the micro set is not real aggressive. So you have time to move things around and get them where you want them to be before you start locking this decal down. Okay, now what we have now is just basically the decal on the surface with a little bit of water and some decal set, which is micro set from Microscale Industries. And the next thing that I'm going to do is, of course, this is in the window area here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a slight cut in the decal, just out in this area where the glass is going to go. And all we're doing this for is to just relief cut this area so that the decal will drop in and conform the way we want it to around the roof line here. So like I say, I'm just lightly cutting down through it. This here is all scrap. Just be careful when you're cutting through something like this that you don't get a piece of it up underneath of your decal that's going to be on the body. And you're just kind of pushing through the decal to find where the opening is. And then the next thing we're going to do is come in and we're going to start kind of brushing that down a little bit and getting it to conform back into the opening. And this is one of the areas a lot of people have problems. They don't quite understand how to do this. So that's the main reason for doing this video. Hopefully it helps everybody out. And you know, gives you a little bit more of an understanding on how the decal sets and solvents and stuff like that work. They can be your friend. This is something here that you cannot do with water only. You would never get this decal to lay down. It's way too many curves and things like that. And as you can see, we got a little bit of it's hanging down here in the fender well. We're going to address that here in just a minute. Alright, so I've got a little bit of the micro set on there taking care of this, and you can see it starting to roll it back up this way. So next we're going to go around here to the back glass, and we're going to basically do the same procedure. We're just going to put some relief cuts in our decal. And it doesn't really matter which way you make the cuts or anything like that. All you're doing is just trying to cut a relief in it so that when we put the micro saw on here and the decal starts to conform down tight into these areas, it'll just be enough of a relief cut to allow the decal to flex around. And you can put a few in, you can put a lot in, whichever way you want to do it. As you can see, the decal is kind of curling up here a little bit. Let me see if I can get a closer shot of it. That's what it's all looking like right now. So now we're going to move on to the micro saw, which is a little bit more aggressive. And we're going to brush that on and really start to make the decal draw down where we want it. And this process here is just like anything else when it comes to building a model. If you want to turn out a quality part or a quality piece, it takes time. And decals are no different. Decals can be very time consuming. There's guys out there that, you know, literally cover the entire car with a decal or with several decals, and it takes time to do that. And especially the guys that are getting to lay down and look real good, you would be surprised the amount of time that it takes to make that happen. We're just getting the micro saw on there now, just getting everything to kind of follow the compound curves and the ins and outs of the body here. And like I say, we got a little bit of an overhang down here at this fender well, so we're actually going to do the same procedure down there. We're just going to take the hobby knife and we're going to lightly cut some relief cuts in that decal. Just like that. And then we'll take our micro saw and we'll start getting a little bit on the little pieces that we cut there. And when you do that, you will notice that after a little bit it'll start to roll around the corner. That is what you want. Okay, so probably on camera, I'll hold it up here and you can see it almost looks like it's been shot with a shotgun or something. But that's all part of the process when you're using a one-piece decal like this to go around all these areas. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to get the hair dryer out and we're going to just basically wave the hair dryer back and forth over top of this decal. And I'm going to do that off camera because with the way the tripod's set up, it's going to be hard for me to get that in the view. But I'm going to go ahead and hit it with a little bit of heat from the hair dryer, and then we'll put it back up here and I'll show you what it looks like. So here we go. And the air pressure of the hair dryer will actually help push the decal where we relief cut it. It'll actually push it back into those openings a little bit, so that helps out a lot. Okay, so I'm going to hold it back up here now. I'll show you what it looks like now with the hair dryer taken to it. You can see it starting to conform and starting to go into place now and follow all the lines and the curves. So the next thing we're going to do is go back in with a little bit more micro saw, and at this point in time you have to start being very careful on how much pressure you put on the brush because the decal is becoming very soft and it's very fragile at this point. So just be very careful how much pressure you're putting down because it will rip the decal, and at that point there's no return. You can you can't put the decal back together. You can go in and do some touch-up paint on it, which I have done on decals before. But just be very careful with it. Now, like right now, all I'm doing is just rolling the decal down over top of these edges. And I'll hold it up here when we're done and show you how it comes out. Now, the next thing I do is I'm going up underneath the body with the brush, and I'm actually getting the decal to go all the way under. Now, this is something that I just get the excess to go under right now, and then once the decal is dry and everything is set, I will come back in with the hobby knife and trim off all this extra that's in here. This is just something to get the decal to lay down right now and to conform. And like I say, don't worry about the excess that's in here. It's not going to bother you. It's very easy to get rid of. I'm doing everything with a very light pressure right now because, like I say, you don't want to put too much pressure on it and tear the decal. So be very careful with that. And like right here, you will notice that I don't think you'll be able to see it on camera, but I can see it here on the decal. I've got a little bit of a wrinkle. And just to make sure, I'm going to take this little piece of wet cloth we had, just dip it in the water here. And I'm actually going to come in and just very lightly press on that little wrinkle that we have. And when you do this, you just want to press straight down and pull straight away from it. You do not want to slide this paper towel at all on the decal, because it will rip it and it will distort the decal. All you're doing is blotting the decal right now. And you can use this anywhere that you have a wrinkle that's showing up, or an area that you don't think is quite good enough as far as conforming. You can go in and take this little piece of paper towel and get all of that kind of straightened out. And as you can see, we're rolling it underneath of the body here. And I know this video may be a little long, it may be a little boring to some people because they think they have decals down and they're mastered at it, but you know, you'll find out real quick on a lot of bodies just how much compound curve and stuff is in them. So I'm just going through trying to show the procedures and what it takes to turn out a decent decal where it looks painted on. And the first step of that is to make sure that your decal is placed right and you don't have air bubbles under it and things like that. So that's where we're at right now. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit more micro saw, and we're going to come up underneath the body right here, and we're going to fold this excess down. Just to make sure we've got that all laid down nice. And it's actually looking real good right now. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run one more coat of the micro saw across the entire decal. And when you're using micro saw, remember, you're going to see some wrinkles and you're going to see some twists in the decal. Don't worry about that. It's not gonna affect the final outcome, or it shouldn't. Sometimes if you get a wrinkle that you've put into the decal because you've pulled it the wrong direction, micro saw is not going to get rid of that wrinkle. So that's why I like to dab the decal with the that piece of paper towel. So next we're going to go ahead and turn the hairdryer back on again, and we're going to get this to lay down even more. And we're just going to wave it back and forth across the decal, nothing special. And this is on the warm setting, this is not on the hot setting. And And as you do this, you'll start to see the decal wanting to, you know, kind of shrink and conform. And sometimes they do something strange where you look at it and go, I don't want it to do that. It's messed up, but in all reality, it's not. Okay, we've applied the heat to the decal, and this is what it looks like so far. You can see where it's conformed down around all the curves and the body lines, and it's conformed into the window openings, and everything is looking real good with it. I'm actually going to go back in now and just blot the decal just a little bit more, just to press out a couple of these larger wrinkles that are showing up. And usually what that is just water and air that gets trapped under the decal. And some of it is the decal, or the micro sol that's actually softening the decal and moving it around. And as you can see, I'm just lightly blotting the surface of the decal and pushing out any of the air bubbles or wrinkles or anything like that. I'm not sliding the piece of towel across the surface. I'm just putting it straight down and pulling it straight back up. Actually, I don't think we're going to need a part 2 to this. Well, we may go ahead and do a part 2 because this one's getting up to about 20 minutes now. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and hold it up here one more time. I'll do one more step and then I'll hold it up one more time for you and just let you see what it looks like. And then we'll come back and do the final second part of the tutorial. This is what we look like right now. As you can see, everything is drawn down real nice and it's all tucked in. Looks real good. It follows all the curves. And even kept the line that comes down through here straight, and also from this point to this point it's straight, so I didn't distort the decal in any way. All it is a flag decal that's just cut out for the windows. And like I say, we'll go ahead and we're going to let this set for a little bit, and then we'll come back in and we'll do part 2, and I'll show you how to finish it up. So like always, I thank you for watching and supporting Showtime Studios, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.